people on YouTube. My name is Gail. Today I want to simplify the shipping process for you or anyone you may know that may benefit from this. So if this is what you're here for, stay tuned. I've been wanting to create a video for a while now that goes over the details of shipping and the basics so it's not so complicated. A lot of people who are resellers who are afraid to sell something either bigger or heavier, or who are just afraid to be a reseller because the shipping is slightly intimidating. I'm hoping to simplify that for you. I was originally going to do just one video on everything, but it would be a very long video that would bore you, or I'd miss some details that I'd really rather not miss unless I just don't know it, or I may just forget it. So what I decided to do, so you can get the most out of this, is do this in a 3-part series. So the first video, which will be this one, we will discuss first class shipping, which is a more lightweight packaging under a pound, and media mail, which is for media, but not necessarily restricted to under a pound. And then the second video, which will be the following Monday from now, I will cover packages that weigh over a pound that you still might send through the United States Postal Service, but it'll cost a little bit more. Talk about all the supplies in that video as well. And then the third and final video in the series on the following Monday will cover larger items or heavier items where it doesn't make sense financially to send using the Postal Service, and looking at the different options that you have out there like FedEx or UPS. If you're more interested in some of the heavier items or bigger items, how to handle that, just stay tuned. Those videos are coming. In the meantime, this video will be around media mail and lightweight shipping through the post office, and they call that first class shipping. I will discuss media mail last because media mail really is not as extensive. It's relatively simple and straightforward. So I'll add that towards the end of this video. Right now, I'll go ahead and get into first class shipping, which is what United States Postal Service labels lightweight packages under a pound. I want to discuss what first class shipping is. Then I'll go over some of the shipping supplies you might need to send something first class mail and where you might get some of those supplies from. The reason you might want to send something first class shipping is because it's cheaper. You can send an item that weighs under a pound through priority mail. It just costs more to send it. We're all familiar with sending letters through the mail. You may have done that in the past to pay a bill or write a letter to a friend. The reason I want to bring this up is just because we're all familiar with that. But if you're a reseller and you're interested in selling sports collection cards or collectible postcards or any sort of ephemera, if you've got those thin, flat items that you want to put in an envelope, this is important for you to know. Anything up to 3.5 ounces can go in those rectangular envelopes as long as it's flat and fits in that. Up to 3.5 ounces, you just use a regular stamp. Right now, that's about 55 cents. That could change when you watch this video. Who knows? If you're sending something outside of the typical regular rectangular envelope, if it's, let's say, a square, like you're sending a birthday card and it's not that shape, it's a square, or some odd shaped flat envelope, that can also go first class mail. If it's up to 3.5 ounces, then it's about 75 cents. The reason this is important to know, if you are sending something like postcards, ephemera, sports cards, or something of that nature in an envelope, to get it at that price, it has to be no more than 3.5 ounces. But also, this does not come with any tracking number. So there's no way to put tracking on a package that light unless you pay extra for it, where it's over 3.5 ounce rate. You can do it certified mail, but you're looking at $2 or $3. That will ensure that someone receives it and signs for it. That way you know that they actually received it. The first class mail is pretty much what I just described and what we're all used to in the letter. The only difference is it may be heavier and it may be in a package like a box or a padded envelope or something that has some thickness to it. those items cost more money than a stamp would for an envelope. If you're doing reselling and you're selling on a platform like eBay, Facebook Marketplace, Mercari, any of those platforms, you do have an option to create the shipping label for the buyer directly through those sites. You get a discount on the shipping. It's anywhere, I think, like about 20 to 35% discounted from what it costs retail. Also, when you sell online using the online platform, getting the label directly from that site, you can send an item first class mail as long as it's up to a pound. So 15.9 ounces or lower is considered first class. Besides using the reselling platform to print your shipping label for the non-retail cost, getting that deep discount, there is also a caveat that you can sell something that weighs up to a pound and still send it first class mail. However, if you took a package, let's say you don't have the means to print the label using your selling platform, or you don't have a scale and you want the post office to do it all. So you take the item, you package it up, and you take it to the post office. One thing to note is if you say, here, weigh it and put a label on it for me, please just know that the post office considers when you're in their office, not only are you going to pay full price, you're paying full retail, so you're not going to get that 30% discount or whatever your platform that you sell on offers, but you're also going to be told anything under 13 ounces is considered first class. So if it's 13.1 ounces, it's no longer first class. You then have to go up a level, which is priority mail. Great service, it just costs a lot more. So you get an extra 3 ounces by using the selling platform and the discount. I would only go to the post office and have them create the label and weigh it for you if that was your only option, last resort. So just to give you an idea on the cost, if it's under a pound, you're looking at the most you might pay is like $5 and change, not even $6. And if it's over a pound, so you might be 1 or 2 ounces that puts you over a pound, then you're looking at about $8 to send a package, where if it was just an ounce or 2 lighter, it could be $5.50. When you're measuring items in weight, it's good to know that the rate only changes in 4-ounce increments. So you might hear, if you watch any YouTube videos like mine, you might hear some sellers say this is going at an 8-ounce rate or a 4-ounce rate or 12-ounce rate. So what that means is it's just 4-ounce increments. So first thing first, if you have an item and you're weighing it on a scale that you have at home, you have to round up to the nearest ounce, not down. So if it's 3.1 ounces, you have to round up to 4 ounces. You don't round down at all, regardless of how close it is to that other ounce. Okay, so when you do that and you round it to 4, then you pay what they call the 4-ounce rate. So that rate is dependent on where it's coming from and going to. So that does change. So I'm not going to quote that, but if it's 4.1 ounces, then you pay a new rate, and that amount is going to be the same if your package is 4.1 ounces as if it's 7.9 ounces. It's still the 8-ounce rate. So just know that, like, if you're weighing something, don't skimp and be like, oh, I need to save an extra ounce to get it just under that 3.1 and make it 3, because the 3 ounce is not any different than the 4 ounce. Okay, the only time you want to try to tweak your packaging and make it weigh less, if you can, is if it's going to put you in that next tier. So always remember that 4-ounce increments. So one thing you'll see that's a little different when I start talking in the next video about priority mail and that sort of thing is first class packages that do exceed that typical envelope that I mentioned. They do automatically come with tracking, so you're able to see when the post office received the package and where it's at along the process. And when it actually gets delivered, it does tell you where it was delivered at, whether it was at the door or in the mailbox. So the tracking is good to have, and it's nearly mandatory when you're selling on platforms like eBay. Most of the platforms require tracking. The delivery time frame is 1 to 3 days. First class packages do not come with insurance. So if you want insurance, you can purchase up to $5,000 in insurance, but it does cost extra. So by default, there is no insurance. So I hope that explains a little bit with the first class shipping. It's 4-ounce increments. It's cheaper than over a pound. There is tracking, but there is no insurance unless you pay extra. So hopefully I've kind of given you a good insight on that. There is a caveat to first class shipping on what you can send. There are certain things you cannot send first class, and the most basic is flammables. So if you've ever gone to the post office with a package, you might hear them say, is there any perfumes, aerosols, and that sort of thing? They ask that question because they want to make sure what's in your package, if they see it's going first class, they want to make sure it's nothing flammable. The reason for that is because first class mail does usually go by air, so it does not get pressurized, and it could cause a combustion if it reaches a certain altitude and threshold, what have you. So the items that are, even if it is under a pound, if it's flammable, you're not able to send it first class mail because you risk it getting on a plane and causing an explosion. That has to go USPS ground shipping only. It takes 2 to 8 days as the delivery time versus the 1 to 3 that you get with first class mail. So not only that is it take longer, you also pay more for this service. It has to go by ground. Because of that, I guess it takes more gas. I'm not real sure why, but you're looking at maybe $8 to send something that would normally cost you $3. It does include a tracking number, but it also does not include insurance. Just like the other one, you can get it, but you have to pay extra for it. If you're selling something like nail polish, perfumes, aerosols, spray paint, anything like that, just know it's got to go ground shipping. I do want to say that is the rule, but take this with a grain of salt if you want. Maybe even check with your post office. But I was told by other YouTubers that are resellers that they've spoken with their postmaster and their postal workers and asked, can I send this first class mail by paying first class price, but you not put it on airplane? And they said yes. You had to put one of these on it. This is surface transportation only, and it's got a line drawn through an airplane. So if their understanding and what they've been told is they can put it in an envelope, they can put this in a box or whatever, as long as it's under a pound, pay first class shipping rates, but stick this sticker on it, and it tells them, because this is big and bold for them to see, do not put this first class package on a plane. So you're able to get the first class rate without the delay and the cost. However, I don't do this. I've done it a couple of times. I don't feel right doing it because I ended up, after doing this a couple of times, checked with my postal workers and they said, no, that is not the case. It has to go ground shipping. I think I've covered first class as it relates to the weight and all that. Now I want to talk about the types of packaging you can use and supplies that you might need. First of all, I would suggest just think about what you're selling, if you have a certain niche, or are you just selling anything that will flip. I sell anything that will flip. Some people specialize in clothing, some jewelry. It really depends, but think about that because that will tell you what kind of package you need. For me, because I sell anything, it could be big, small, heavy, light. I kind of get a variety of packages, but let's just say I'll show you some of the ones that I use, and then I'll kind of give you an example of when you might use these. Okay, so this is what they call just a poly mailer. This is kind of a medium size. They have one that's a little bit smaller, like you might put some lipstick in it or something like that. But these are good for when you have to send something like clothing. You just put it in there. They usually have these little tape strips. You pull it off, fold it over, and it has an adhesive that it seals it for you. And you put your label on it. This is really good for doing clothing. It's kind of keeps it protected from the rain, and it's pretty stretchy, so it doesn't puncture really easily like paper might. I will use those sometimes, like if I have, let's say, okay, I have this. This is hard. It's protected. It's not going to break. I don't need to protect this in a box. I don't need to put this in a padded anything like bubble wrap or anything. I could easily just put this in here, and this could be the difference of saving 1 ounce that would put me under the 1 pound rate. So this might be when you might want to use this. These are also one of the cheapest types of mailers that you can get. You can get them in different colors and different patterns. They're really cute, but remember, anything I'm showing you costs money. So if you buy something that has pineapples on it, it's going to cost you more than if you just got a plain white one. Okay, the next thing that I use often are bubble mailers. I use these a lot. And it's just like the poly bag, except it's got bubble wrap on the inside. It's all part of it. Some people will just buy bubble wrap. That's also a supply that I don't have like on me right now, but a roll of bubble wrap. Wrap the item up in it and then put it in one of these. It would serve the same purpose as this, except there's more time involved in doing it this way and maybe more cost because you're adding this cost plus the bubble wrap. So I will usually use this, like I'll stick a DVD in here or, and you know, a tube of toothpaste or, you know, a box tube of toothpaste or something like that. Just needs a little extra padding. I do sell some jewelry, so I might put jewelry in this box and then put this box in here. Just to give you an idea of what these could be used for. And these all do come in different sizes, just like this one here. I have a really big one, which really is helpful because if you've got a big box, it's kind of feels dumb to put a big box in a big box to ship it. So if I got a really big poly bag that'll fit over it, then I'll do it that way. That's not first class shipping. Okay, so this is one that I use often. They do come in a smaller size. Like I said, if you're selling lipstick, mascaras, things like that, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be beauty. It could be one of these, okay? Measuring tape. Doesn't matter. And then they have bigger ones. I use these more than I use these because these will only fit a certain amount. And if this item is just about this much bigger, then I can just get it and I fold it over and I'm done with it. So that's just an example. They have different sizes. And you can also use things like these. They have them that are paper. Still, again, bubble mailers. And it's got the bubble in there and it's self-adhesive. And then you can also use boxes. So the boxes, like, I bought these on Amazon. It's just like a 4x4x4 box. This one is, you can maybe tell it's really not double wall. It's not really thick. So it's lightweight and thin, but strong enough to kind of withstand some pressure. I'll send my hats in here, like my ball caps, because with this thin box and the ball cap, it keeps it probably under 8 ounces. So it still keeps it lightweight. If I put this in a heavy duty box, then it would put me over a pound possibly. You can also use other boxes from other sources. Walmart.com sent me something. You think I'm going to use this box again to mail this toy? Yes, I'm going to. Don't be ashamed to use boxes or recycle. If you've got boxes from Amazon, you can use those. Same thing for poly bags. I've gotten the poly bags where maybe I got something from Amazon and it had my label on it and I just put a new label over it. And if I've already torn into this, I just cut it and fold it and tape it. I use my own tape. Makes it very easy. You'll need like packing tape, any other kind of tape like this is eBay tape. The United States Postal Service offers mail supplies for free, but not for first class mail. So keep that in mind. So you'll see boxes or bags like this that maybe have the Postal Service logo on it. This says priority mail. Says priority mail for a reason, because it's only priority mail. You can use this priority mail tape. I can't seal my envelope that I'm sending first class mail. I can't seal this with this tape because this says priority mail. So anything that's got the Postal Service logo like that, that says priority mail, you can only use it if you're actually sending it priority mail. And think about that. First class mail is cheaper, so they're not offering supplies for us to use because they're not getting much money out of it. They get a lot more money from us when we send something priority mail, so they're more than happy to oblige with providing boxes, tape, and that sort of thing. That will be covered in the next video. I just wanted to make sure you knew, don't use those supplies if you're not using that service. Of course, don't forget, you'll need a scale. My scale, it's a nice scale. It's by Accutech. It's weigh up to 100 pounds and it's got a separate display that you can move. So if you've got a heavy box, you can put it on there and you're not trying to see the numbers. That's one I recommend, or you could just do a little scale, but the numbers always are covered up by my packages. That's why I got this one. I briefly mentioned reusing the supplies like the Walmart box, the Amazon bubble mailer. You know, just because it's got their logo on it doesn't mean you can't use it. Just know that everything you use when you ship something costs money. If you're using tissue paper, if you're using a box or an envelope or tape, or if you're using thank you cards or thank you stickers, all those things add up and they're part of your cost. The more you buy, the more you save. So if I bought this with pineapples all over it, this could cost me, for 25, it could cost me 50 cents each. But if I got 25 white ones, it might cost me 45 cents each. Even more, if I buy 100 of these, I might pay 25 cents each. So the more you buy, the more you save. But don't get it just because you're saving money. If you're not going to have the use for that much, you're not going to use it right away, you're not ramped up to that level, I wouldn't spend the money and get that many. Always look at the different options. Look at eBay, look at Amazon, see who's selling the size envelope that you want. And again, that goes back to looking at what you might be selling and get the size that you need. If you don't have the ability to order in bulk, just know you can get supplies like these bubble mailers. I'm not sure about the poly mailers. I'm not sure about these, but I do know for sure the bubble mailers, you can get these at Walmart. You can also pick them up at the Dollar Tree. They're $1, so they cost money, obviously, but still better than not having the supplies that you need. One of my favorite places to get supplies, if I don't already have them from orders that I've made on household items, is a Facebook group that has just my neighborhood on it. And I usually like to reach out through that way because they're all very close to me. They're all in my neighborhood. And I just say, hey, I'm a reseller. I need packing supplies. When you get something from Amazon or an online retailer, instead of throwing the box away or the filler, then let me know and I can come pick it up. Save it up for me and I'll take it. Only when I do that, I get an overwhelming response. And then I'll tell them I don't need any more boxes or I need more filler. They give me those air pillows. I get bubble wrap. I get packing paper, and it's all free. So one, I'm saving the landfill, you know, the earth, right? Mother Earth. And then I'm also saving myself money because those supplies cost me $0. Just remember, everything you do costs money. If you sell jewelry, you can buy boxes online. Even the Dollar Tree has a set of 3 for $1. Those are good to use. I don't buy them online because I don't have a whole lot that I sell, but I can run to the Dollar Tree and grab some things. I hope that tip is helpful. It's helped me a lot, and reaching out to friends and family, asking for supplies, it doesn't hurt. And then you don't have to have the boxes fully put together. You can just cut them and tear them down and then put them together when you want them. And what I do is, we'll get into this when I do the bigger videos, but if I'm selling this and I need a box for it, I'll literally take my measuring tape and I'll take a measure of the distance, the measurements. And then if I say, okay, this has got to be at least 6 inches, then I'll go look at my stack of boxes. They don't have to be put together for me to know it fits in there. I can just take this flat box right here and I can measure between here and where the box folds. And if that's 6 inches or less, then I know this is going to fit. Same for the height and the width. I was afraid at first to tear my boxes down, but now I'm not hesitant because that's what I do. I measure what I need and I go look. Okay, let's move on to media mail real quick. Media mail is a little bit of a different beast. This is not related to the weight specifically, although you can only send media mail if it's up to 70 pounds. That's a big difference than up to a pound, right? But 70 pounds is the maximum you can ship anything through media mail. Delivery time is also much slower than first class shipping. As I mentioned earlier, first class shipping is 1 to 3 days. Media mail is 2 to 8 days. I've seen 2 to 10 days, but the Postal Service on their site says 2 to 8 days. And the reason you might want to use media mail is, the main reason is the cost. It's so much cheaper. You can send a 2-pound box probably for like $3 or $4, whereas a 2-pound box for priority mail through the post office, another service, could cost you $12. There's definitely a big difference in cost, but it's taking longer to get there. So make sure that when you're selling something, if you're going to send it by media mail, that you make that notation in the listing so they know and they expect that it's going to take 2 to 8 days, not 1 to 3. As an example of what you can send through media mail is just something you can hear, watch, or read. So think about that. You hear a CD, music CD of George Michael. You might want to watch a DVD of the Game of Thrones. You might want to read a book. If you just think it's media, you're good to go. There are some caveats. It can't be blank media. So if you're sending blank cassette tapes or blank DVD RWs, like those things that have no media on it that you can record onto, those cannot be sent by media mail. You can't send magazines because most magazines, you can't just read it. There are advertisements. So if it's something that you can't wholly read or has advertisements, you can't send it. Some examples of what you cannot use media mail for that when you hear the word media, you think you can, would be video games, computer games, yearbooks, magazines. Magazines have advertisements in them. Comic books, coloring books, you can't use any of those through media mail. Something media related like a hard drive, it's not considered media mail. The reason this is important to know is because they give you such a good price on the media mail. They don't want you to abuse it. So know whatever you send through this method, they have the right to open the package if they feel for any reason that what's in that package is not media mail. If that's the case and they open it up and they find that it's something else in there, then what they will do is they will either hold the package or return it back to you, or they'll deliver it and hold it hostage, demanding more money. Just follow by the rules if you can. I don't know if they can ban you or what, but it's better not to mess with it. When you're sending that, let's say you're sending 5 books to someone, let's say you're sending it to your grandchild. I'm going to send 5 books to my granddaughter, but I want to throw in a pair of shoes with it so she can have it for Christmas. But you can't do that. You cannot combine anything with that media. So if you want to send shoes, you either send the books with the shoes, sending it priority mail, first class, whatever it qualifies for, or you send it separately. It cannot be in the same box. If you do it and you get away with it, great. But if you don't and they find you out, you're in trouble. Don't mess with them. Don't mess with the government. You know what they're like. They're like the KGB. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just don't mess with them, okay? Just follow by the book. I do believe I covered what I needed to cover on this video. It took some thought, and I recorded it once already, and it was too much to edit because it was all over the place. I hope this is helpful for you. If you think of anyone that this would be helpful for, feel free to send them the link to this video or forward the video link to them. Like the video if you can. That will help the algorithm and other people to find it. If there's something that you want to add to my video that I didn't include in it, please, I would encourage you to leave a comment and state what that is, because everyone who's learning will be reading the comments and learning from that. And if I didn't mention it and you still have additional questions related to the lightweight packages as discussed in this video, leave me a question in the comments below and I'd be more than happy to get back with you and answer that. And if nothing else, just say hi in the comments. So to be notified of the upcoming videos, if you're not already subscribed, please click that subscribe button, and to the right of that is a bell. Click that and you'll get notifications every time I upload a video. But just know the next 2 videos will be coming in sequential Mondays, and 2 more videos in this series will be over. Let me know if this has been helpful for you. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to just leave them below. And I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for your time. Bye, y'all.